My brother bailed on his blind date again. Mom's furious call ripped me out of bed, demanding I cover for him. Turns out, the date was with a gorgeous, sweet girl. Way more fun than Liam's Ice Queen fiancée. Even better, her cats seemed to have a thing for my dog. From then on, I was basically forced into a life of living easy, with a cute pet on one arm and a beautiful woman on the other, inheriting a multi-million-dollar empire along the way. As for Liam and his ex-fiancée, let them regret it. Ethan Clark, your brother ditched again. Get your butt up and get to the Grand Regent Hotel now. Mom's roar through the phone nearly shattered my eardrum. I mumbled, sitting up in bed, rubbing the sleep from my eyes. 8 in the morning. For a trust fund kid who'd vowed to live a life of leisure, this was pure torture. Mom again? Seriously, what is up with Liam? How many times has this happened? I grumbled, annoyed. My brother, Liam Clark, was the nominal heir to Clark Industries, a workaholic who hated Mom's endless parade of blind dates. Every time, he'd ditch with some lame excuse about an emergency board meeting, leaving me to clean up his mess. Less talk, more action. This date is important. It's Aunt Carol's daughter. You messed this up, and I'll skin you alive when I get home. Mom didn't even wait for a response. She just hung up. I sighed, resigned, and dragged myself out of bed. Whatever. It was just a formality. I'd show up, pretend to be interested, and then get out. I threw on a random t-shirt and some casual pants, raked my fingers through my messy hair, and shuffled out in my slippers. Passing the living room, my husky Duke was sprawled upside down on the sofa, snoring with drool pooling around him. I nudged him with my foot. Come on, dumb dog. Time to see the world. Duke shot up, wide awake, tongue lolling, and excitedly circled me. Half an hour later, I was leading a husky through the revolving doors of the 5-star Grand Regent Hotel. The doorman's face was priceless, staring at my casual attire and the energetic goofball by my side. He blocked my way, his voice polite enough. Sir, I apologize, but pets aren't allowed inside the hotel. I pulled out my phone and dialed the hotel manager directly. Hey, Manager Johnson, it's Ethan Clark. Yeah, I'm at your front door, and your guy won't let me in. Manager Johnson's voice instantly turned anxious. Mr. Clark, why didn't you say you were coming? I'll be right down. Less than a minute later, a portly middle-aged man in a suit practically tumbled out of the elevator, rushing towards me, all but bowing and scraping. Mr. Clark, I'm so sorry. My staff are idiots who didn't recognize you. Please don't take it to heart. He shot a fierce glare at the doorman, who instantly blanched, his legs turning to jelly. I wave him off. It's fine. Just take care of my dog. Find him a quiet room, get him a prime rib and some bottled water. Don't let him go hungry. Yes, of course. You can rest assured, Duke will be well taken care of. Manager Johnson respectfully took Duke's leash, personally leading my husky through the VIP entrance. Guests and passersby watched, curious, whispering about who I was. I ignored them, heading straight for the cafe where the date was scheduled. Pushing open the door, my eyes immediately landed on the girl by the window. She wore a simple white sundress, her long hair cascading over her shoulders, her skin glowing. Sunlight streamed through the window, making her seem to shimmer. She was unbelievably beautiful. Yeah, she was definitely my type. I walked over, pulled out the chair opposite her, and leaned back. Sorry I'm late. She looked up, revealing a sweet, delicate face with wide, deer-like eyes that studied me curiously. You're Liam Clark? Her voice was soft and sweet, like honey. I nodded, tacitly agreeing. Liam's usual stoic expression wouldn't allow for much conversation anyway, so playing him was no stress. She giggled, her eyes crinkling into happy crescents. You look different from your picture. Oh, how so? I raised an eyebrow. You look so serious in the pictures. You look kind of laid back, she assessed, tilting her head thoughtfully. Her directness amused me. Interesting. Can't help it. Born with a demanding schedule, you know? Pulled an all-nighter for a board meeting. Exhausting. I casually blamed my diligent older brother without batting an eye. She nodded in understanding, an icy expression on her face, then slid the menu over. What would you like to drink? I glanced at it. Blue Mountain, please. After the waiter took our order, the atmosphere grew a little quiet. I was already thinking about how to wrap up this boring blind date quickly when she suddenly pulled something out of her small handbag. It was a fluffy white Persian cat, lounging lazily on her lap, its sapphire blue eyes watching me warily. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I am Chloe Peterson, and this is my cat, Princess, she said, gently stroking the cat's back. I looked at the cat and thought of my dumb dog, Duke, whom Manager Johnson had taken away. The difference between people, even their pets, was crazy. Just then, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out. It was a text from an unknown number. I'm the Ice Queen CEO, your fiancé. Cancel this blind date immediately. 5 minutes, or face the consequences. I nearly laughed out loud. Ice Queen CEO? Who still used such melodramatic titles? This had to be Liam's arranged marriage fiancé, the legendary, ambitious Victoria Sterling, who supposedly looked down on him. She probably found out Liam was playing around again and was furiously trying to assert her dominance. Too bad. She had the wrong guy. Threats didn't scare me. I slowly typed out 4 words. Who is this? Then I muted my phone, tossed it back into my pocket, and looked up at Chloe with what I hoped was my most charming smile. Ms. Peterson, where do you think we should go next? The fun was just starting. Chloe was startled by my sudden enthusiasm, and a cute blush spread across her cheeks. Anywhere is fine, she said softly. Seeing her innocent reaction, my devilish amusement grew. I wanted that so-called Ice Queen CEO to see just how desirable her fiancé really was to other women. Let's go see a movie, then. I decided instantly, standing up. Chloe, clutching her princess, meekly followed me. We walked out of the cafe side by side. The sight of a handsome guy and a beautiful girl together naturally attracted attention. I could feel my phone vibrating wildly in my pocket. Victoria, no doubt, with a string of desperate calls. I ignored it, feeling lighthearted as I led Chloe to the movie theater. I bought tickets for the next showing of a romantic comedy, 2 buckets of popcorn, and 2 colas. The movie theater was dimly lit, perfect for a little couple time. Even though I was just playing a role, I couldn't be too obvious about it. I turned my head, watching Chloe's profile. In the flickering light of the screen, her skin looked smooth, not a single pore in sight. Her long lashes fluttered like tiny butterfly wings. She must have felt my gaze because she turned her head, and our eyes met. A spark seemed to jump between us in the air. Her face went crimson, like a perfectly ripe apple. She quickly looked down, pretending to be engrossed in her popcorn. So cute. I couldn't resist. I reached out and gently pinched her cheek. Soft and smooth, it felt amazing. Chloe flinched, her body tensing up. Don't move, I whispered, leaning close to her ear. You've got a piece of popcorn on your lip. My warm breath brushed her earlobe. I watched her ears turn bright red, the flush spreading down her neck. She looked like she was ready to melt. Satisfied, I pulled my hand back, sat upright, and continued watching the movie. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Chloe secretly raise a hand to touch her burning cheek, her eyes a little hazy. Cute kid, still so innocent. By the end of the movie, Chloe probably hadn't absorbed a single plot point, spending the entire time in a daze of shyness and nerves. When we walked out, dusk was setting in. Let me take you home, I offered. Okay, Chloe murmured, her voice barely a whisper, head bowed. I picked up my car from the hotel, a rather understated Porsche Panamera. It was the cheapest car I owned, usually for just getting around. Chloe's eyes flickered with surprise when she saw the emblem, but she quickly regained her composure. Looks like she'd seen a thing or two. I gallantly opened the door for her, then got into the driver's seat. The car smoothly merged into traffic. Where do you live? I asked. Chloe gave me an address in Westmont Estates, a renowned gated community in the city. Her family clearly had money. Soft music played in the car, setting a comfortable mood. As I drove, I casually asked, what do you usually like to do? I like to paint and take care of animals, Chloe replied softly. Paint? I was intrigued. Could I see some of your work sometime? Oh, sure. We chatted idly, and soon the car pulled up to Chloe's house. It was a beautiful, sprawling villa with a huge garden. I stopped the car, walked around to the passenger side, and opened her door. Chloe got out, cradling her cat, and gave a small curtsy. Thank you for today. I had a really nice time. Me too, I said, looking into her eyes, my voice sincere. Just then, blinding headlights approached rapidly. An intimidating black Bentley screeched to a halt right next to my Panamera. The door opened, and a woman in a sharp black business suit stepped out, radiating an almost suffocating presence. Her makeup was flawless, her face a mask of ice, her piercing eyes sweeping over me coldly before settling on Chloe. "Liam Clark," she said, her voice as cold as her demeanor. "You refused my calls for this woman." Before I could reply, Chloe immediately recoiled, shrinking behind me, her face stark white. A wave of irritation washed over me. She could mess with me, but not with someone I was with. I stepped forward, putting Chloe behind me, and met Victoria's gaze with a challenging smirk. "Ms. Sterling, we're not that close, are we? My personal life isn't really your concern." Victoria's eyes instantly turned cold like an icy blade. "Don't forget, you are my fiancée in name." "In name only," I scoffed. "And that name won't be for much longer." I was deliberately trying to push her buttons. I wanted her to know that my brother wasn't indispensable to her. Victoria's face grew even uglier. Her fist clenched, knuckles white. She'd always been the golden girl, the one who never had to put up with being talked to like that. "Liam Clark, you just wait," she gritted out. "Wait," I said, as if she'd told the funniest joke I'd ever heard. Those words aren't in my vocabulary. With that, I ignored her, turned to Chloe behind me. "Don't be scared. I'm here." Chloe peeked out from behind me, timidly glanced at Victoria, then quickly ducked back. Her startled fawn looked completely satisfied my primal urge to protect her. Victoria watched our sweetheart's display, her chest heaving. She was clearly furious. She stared at me, as if trying to burn holes through me with her gaze. After a long moment, she scoffed dismissively. "Fine. Very well. Liam Clark will see about this." With that, she turned, got into her Bentley, and sped away. The show was finally over. I let out a breath and turned to Chloe, who was still a little shaken, gently patting her shoulder. "It's okay. Just a crazy ex." Chloe looked up, her big, worried eyes glistening. She was your fiancée? Did I cause trouble for you?" "Ex-fiancée y corrected." "And no, you didn't cause trouble. If anything, I should thank you. You helped me get rid of a huge problem." I was half lying. Getting rid of Victoria was definitely my brother's dream. As for me, I just went with the flow and got to enjoy seeing the Ice Queen CEO get flustered. "Why not?" Chloe nodded, seemingly understanding, but the concern in her eyes didn't lessen. "It's getting late. Go on in," I urged. "Okay, be careful driving." She walked into the villa, looking back at me 3 times. I waited until her lights came on inside before I returned to my car. As soon as I sat down, my phone rang. This time it was Liam. I answered. Before I could speak, his voice, tight with anger, filled my ear. "Ethan, what the hell have you done today?" I leaned back languidly in my seat. "Nothing much, bro. Just went on a blind date for you and got rid of that Ice Queen fiancé. No need to thank your little brother." Silence on the other end. I could almost picture his face, thunderous. After a long moment, he gritted out, "Do you have any idea that Sterling Corp just unilaterally terminated all ongoing projects with Clark Industries?" "Oh, really?" I raised an eyebrow, not surprised at all. "Isn't that perfect? Now you can see if you can survive without the Sterlings, Mr. Hotshot CO. You." Liam spluttered, too furious to speak. "Come on, bro, don't be mad," I said, switching to a more playful tone. "Look, I sorted out your love life for you. Shouldn't you show some appreciation?" "Appreciation for what?" "Like, letting me take the CEO's chair for a couple of days? I like to see what it's like to run the show." "Dream on," Liam roared. "Get your butt back here now." "Can't. I am wiped. Going home to crash," I said, yawning. "Oh, by the way, Chloe Peterson's really something. If you're not interested, I'm making my move." With that, I hung up before he could react. I started the car. The Panamera rumbled to life, merging into the night. On the way home, a huge grin spread across my face. Thinking of Victoria's twisted, furious face made me want to laugh. Thinking of Liam, stressed out of his mind, made me want to laugh even harder. Life, I thought, was meant to be lived on your own terms. That's what felt good. Back home, my dumb dog, Duke, immediately pounced on me, rubbing enthusiastically against my leg. Manager Johnson must have treated him right. I kicked off my shoes and flopped onto the sofa, feeling completely drained. Pretending is exhausting. I closed my eyes, but Chloe's sweet, innocent face kept popping into my head. and how she'd blush crimson when I teased her. Yeah, she was definitely a girl who could make your heart skip a beat. Ding dong. My phone buzzed with a messenger notification. I picked it up. It was a new friend request. The profile picture was that Persian cat, Princess, and the username was Chloe. A smile tugged at the corner of my lips. I accepted the request. Almost instantly, a message popped up. Chloe, did you get home okay? Me just walked in. Chloe, good. And thank you for today. Me, thank me for what? For taking you to the movies, or for helping you get rid of that crazy ex. A brief pause, then a blushing emoji. Chloe, both. Her adorable reaction made me chuckle. Me, a verbal thanks isn't enough, you know. Shouldn't there be some actual appreciation? Chloe, huh? Oh, I could treat you to dinner? Me, dinner's good, but I have one condition. Chloe, what is it? I typed. Next time we meet, no bringing that cat, Princess. That cat always looked at me like it was judging my very existence. Chloe sent a pouting emoji. Why not? Princess is very well behaved. Me, this town ain't big enough for two alpha males. My turf, only the handsomest dude around gets to stay. After sending that, I could practically picture Chloe on the other end of the phone, speechless. Sure enough, it took her a few minutes to reply. Chloe, oh. That O was full of endless hurt and resignation. My mood soared. I tossed my phone aside, planning to take a shower. Just as I stood up, the villa's front door was thrust open. Liam stood in the doorway, radiating an icy chill, his face ashen. Behind him was Mom, looking like she wanted to wring my neck. Ethan, Mom launched the first attack, striding towards me and jabbing a finger at my forehead. You little punk, getting bold, aren't you? Trying to steal your brother's date? I recoiled, stumbling backward. Mom, come on, be rational. What do you mean steal his date? Victoria never even liked Liam. I was just helping him break free. Break free? Do you have any idea how many millions the company just lost because of you? Liam's voice was like steel, his gaze cutting into me. A few millions? Clark Industries can afford it, I said, shrugging dismissively. Besides, money comes and goes, but a good woman? That's priceless. Bro, I'm helping you out here. Chloe Peterson is beautiful, sweet, and comes from a great family. 100 times better than that cold ice queen you were stuck with. Shut your mouth. Liam roared. Chloe Peterson is Aunt Carol's daughter. Our families have known each other for generations. You acting like a fool under my name today. How am I supposed to face Aunt Carol now? What's hard about it? I said, completely unrepentant. Just tell her your younger brother fell head over heels for Chloe, and to pursue true love, he just had to pretend to be you. Isn't that a beautiful love story? You. Liam's temple visibly throbbed from my twisted logic. Mom, next to me, just sighed. How did I ever raise such a disaster a child? I couldn't be bothered arguing with them. I just started walking towards the stairs. I'm wiped. Going to bed. We can talk about this tomorrow. Ethan, stop right there. Liam called out. I paused, turning back to him. Tomorrow, you will personally go to the Sterling residence and apologize to Victoria, he commanded. I laughed. Me apologize? For what? Who does she think she is? She's my fiancée. Then you go. I'm not going. I tossed the words over my shoulder, then walked upstairs without looking back, locking my bedroom door. Mom and Liam's furious shouts faded into the background. I just ignored them. After a shower, I lay in bed, picked up my phone, and saw a new message from Chloe. Chloe, are you asleep yet? Me, not yet. Chloe, your brother and family didn't give you any trouble, did they? Looks like she'd figured some things out. A warmth spread through me. Me, nah, nothing. Liam should actually be thanking me. Chloe, that's good. Even through the screen, I could feel her concern and kindness. A girl like this truly deserved to be cherished. I looked at her profile picture, that arrogant Persian cat, and a thought suddenly sparked. Me, Chloe Peterson, how about we make a bet? Chloe, a bet on what? Me, we'll bet on which happens first. Your princess falling for my duke, or me sweeping you off your feet. A long pause stretched on the other end of the phone. I could practically picture Chloe, flustered and speechless, clutching her phone. After a full 5 minutes, she finally replied with just 2 words. Chloe, you're ridiculous, followed by a huffy emoji. I burst out laughing. This girl was too easy to tease. I decided not to push it, sent a quick goodnight, and put my phone down, ready for sleep. But I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. My mind replayed Chloe's sweet face, then Victoria's icy glare, then Liam's furious scowl. What a day. But most of all, I was exhilarated by the thrill of having the upper hand. Everyone thought I was Liam, but only I knew the truth. Watching them all scramble, playing them like fiddles, it felt better than making $1 billion. I lay there quietly, planning my next moves. Victoria wouldn't take this lying down. Knowing her, after such a public humiliation, she'd definitely find a way to get back at me. And Liam was probably drowning in company crisis. Mom was caught in the middle, torn between us. As for Chloe, I genuinely wanted to pursue her. Thinking about it, the future definitely wouldn't be boring. The next day, I woke up naturally. When I went downstairs, Liam was still there, sitting at the dining table, laptop open, a storm brewing on his face. He just grunted when he saw me, turning his head away. Mom came out of the kitchen, looking thoroughly unimpressed. Finally awake? Thought you'd sleep all day, wouldn't you? I pulled out a chair, sat down, and picked up a piece of toast. Can't help it. Had to expend so much mental energy sorting out Liam's romantic life last night. Exhausting. Don't even start. Mom swatted my back. Eat up, then get your butt to the office with your brother. You made this mess, you clean it up. Me at the office? I said innocently. I don't even know which way the front door faces. As of today, you are. Liam slammed his laptop shut, his gaze like steel. I've already informed the board. You're being appointed vice president, specifically to handle all follow-up matters with Sterling Corp. I nearly choked on my coffee. What? VP? Bro, are you serious? I don't even know where the break room is. Then learn. Liam stood up, looking down at me. This is on you. You like playing games? Fine. You can play to your heart's content. With that, he grabbed his suit jacket and walked out. I stood there, dumbfounded, watching him leave. What kind of move was that? He was trying to throw me into the fire? Mom, next to me, was practically cackling. Serves you right. For causing trouble. I looked at the leftover breakfast, suddenly losing my appetite. Looks like my slacker days were officially on hold. But, on second thought, this might actually be pretty fun. Going to the office as VP? Wouldn't that give me even more opportunities to go head-to-head with Victoria? Plus, I could shamelessly use company resources to pursue Chloe, like sponsoring an art exhibition and inviting Chloe as a special guest. Thinking about it, not a bad deal at all. All right, Vice President it is, I said, standing up and stretching. Time to show some people what real genius looks like. An hour later, I was in a sharp, custom-tailored suit, my hair perfectly styled. I looked like $1 million. I drove my flashy red Ferrari straight to Clark Industries headquarters. When I parked in the CEO's reserved spot, employees passing by stared in surprise. Everyone at Clark Industries knew their stoic CEO, Liam Clark, only drove his somber black Maybach. Whose high-profile Ferrari was this? Ignoring their curious gazes, I strode into the building like I owned the place. The receptionist clearly froze when she saw me, but managed a professional smile. Sir, may I help you? I pulled out the corporate ID Liam had given me and flashed it at her. Ethan Clark, new vice president. The receptionist's eyes widened, and her mouth dropped open into an O shape. You could have fit an egg in it. She stammered, Gee, good morning, Vice President Clark. I gave a satisfied nod and headed straight for the executive elevator. It took me directly to the top floor, the CEO's suite. I pushed open the door and found Daniel Lee, Liam's chief assistant, waiting inside. Daniel was a man in his early 30s, with gold-rimmed glasses, looking sharp and efficient. He was Liam's right-hand man, incredibly competent. Seeing me, Daniel pushed up his glasses, a complex look on his face. Mr. Ethan, you're here. It's Vice President Clark now, I corrected him. Yes, Vice President Clark, Daniel quickly adapted. The CEO said I'm to assist you with all company matters. Where's Liam? I asked. The CEO is an emergency board meeting. The topic, Sterling Corp. Terminating all our agreements, Daniel said, his tone grim. I nodded. Looks like Liam wasn't having an easy time of it. Where's my office? Right next to the CEO's office. It's already been cleaned, Daniel said, leading me to the adjacent office. The office was huge, but decorated in the same cold, corporate black, white, and gray as Liam's. I frowned. Daniel, do me a favor, I said. Yes, Vice President Clark. I want everything in here swapped out for warmer tones. And give me a bigger lounge area. Stock it with gym equipment, a game console, and a huge liquor cabinet. I need space for my homemade bourbons, craft brews, and fruit wines. Daniel's lips twitched, but he respectfully replied, "Right away, sir." "All right," I called after him. "Can you also find out if there are any big art or gallery shows happening in the city soon?" "An art exhibition?" Daniel looked a little confused but nodded. "Okay, I'll check right away." Watching Daniel leave, a satisfied smile spread across my face. With such an efficient assistant, my vice president life wouldn't be so bad. I walked to the massive floor-to-ceiling window, looking out over the city below. Victoria Sterling, Liam Clark, Chloe Peterson. All the people and events felt like a meticulously planned chess game. And now, I was both a piece on the board and the player pulling the strings. This feeling was addictive. Just then, my personal phone buzzed. It was Chloe. "Hello." I answered, my voice unconsciously softening. You really want to work at the company?" Chloe's voice on the other end sounded uncertain. "Word travels fast," I said, a little surprised. "My mom just called me. She said you're Clark Industries' new vice president." I chuckled. "That's right. I'm an overbearing VP now." Scared, a soft laugh came from the other end. "No, you're not really overbearing." "Then what am I?" "You." She seemed to think seriously. "You're a little bit bad, but not that bad. A good guy." "I like that. To reward your way with words, I've decided to give you a gift," I said. "What kind of gift?" "Free Saturday? I'm taking you somewhere." "Saturday? Oh yeah, I'm free," Chloe replied without hesitation. "It's a date then," I said, keeping her guessing. "I'll pick you up." I hung up, my mood soaring. Daniel's efficiency was unparalleled. In less than half a day, my office was unrecognizable. The cold black, white, and gray had been replaced by warm beige and natural wood tones. Modern art adorned the walls, and leafy green plants brightened the corners. The latest gaming console and a full set of gym equipment were installed in the lounge, and a massive, temperature-controlled liquor cabinet stood ready for my prize collection. I sank into the new leather sofa, feeling like this was what living was meant to be. In the afternoon, Liam finished his board meeting and stormed into my office, his face like a thundercloud. He looked around, and his frown deepened. "Ethan, are you here to work or to set up a resort?" "A little relaxation improves efficiency," I said, popping a grape into my mouth. "Bro, the old guard on the board didn't give you too much grief, did they?" Liam shot me a withering glare and sat down opposite me. "What else?" "They're all blaming me for letting personal issues impact the company, causing massive losses." "What did you tell them?" "I told them I'd personally negotiate the Sterling project back," Liam said, a hint of weariness in his voice. I scoffed. "Bro, don't you get it? Victoria's dead set on teaching you a lesson. You could grovel on your knees, and she wouldn't budge." "So what do you suggest?" Liam yanked impatiently at his tie. "Screw it," I said. "Sterling backed out, so what? There are plenty of other corporations out there. We should use this as an opportunity to shift our business focus. Break free from relying on Sterling Corp. Wouldn't that be better?" Liam froze, staring at me with a look of intense scrutiny. When did you get so clued in about the business?" "Just pick things up," I said vaguely. Couldn't exactly tell him that in my previous life, before I was born into this wealthy family, I was just a regular guy who spent his work days slacking off and reading up on market analyses and financial news. Even if I didn't want to run things, I still understood basic business acumen. Liam was quiet, clearly mulling over the feasibility of what I'd said. After a long moment, he spoke. "Easier said than done. A major pivot like that, it needs funding, connections, technology, the whole 9 yards. That's why we have you, the CEO," I said, patting his shoulder. "Bro, trust yourself. You got this. And if things go south, you've always got me, your genius VP, to bail you out, right?" My confident grin made Liam stare at me, a mix of exasperation and amusement on his face. "You're all talk." "Oh, right, bro," I said, a thought suddenly striking me. "That fiancée of yours, Victoria Sterling. Any weaknesses?" Liam looked at me warily. "Why?" "Know your enemy. Know yourself. Win every battle," I said, rubbing my hands together, a mischievous grin spreading across my face. "I'm thinking of paying her a visit." Liam's expression turned grim. "Ethan, I'm warning you, don't mess this up. Victoria Sterling isn't Chloe Peterson. She's not someone you want to provoke." Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I wave him off. Just then, Daniel knocked and entered. Vice President Clark, the information you requested. He handed me a tablet. I took it. It showed all the upcoming art exhibitions in the city. One, in particular, caught my eye. Rising Voices Young Artist Showcase. That's the one, Daniel explained. It's hosted by the City Art Association, meant to discover and promote talented new artists. It's pretty well regarded in the art world. I nodded, scrolling down. The location, the City Art Museum, downtown. The exhibition date, this Saturday. It was perfect. I handed the tablet back to Daniel. Contact the organizers of this exhibition. Tell them Clark Industries wants to be the exclusive sponsor. And give me a special guest invitation. Daniel blinked. Special guest? Who would you like to invite? A wide grin spread across my face, showing a flash of white teeth. Chloe Peterson. Daniel's efficiency was legendary. The next day, news of Clark Industries' exclusive sponsorship of the Rising Voices Young Artist Showcase buzzed through the city's cultural and business circles. It raised a few eyebrows. Clark Industries was known for its conservative approach, rarely venturing into arts and culture. This sudden, high-profile sponsorship of a young artist's exhibition, people were wondering what the real angle was. Speculation ran rampant. As for me, the orchestrator of all this, I was lounging on my office sofa, happily sipping some of my newly installed homemade fruit wine. This particular batch I made with glutinous rice from my family's old estate, fermented for 3 months. It was smooth, subtly sweet, and honestly tasted better than any $40 bottle of wine out there. Liam opened my office door, and the rich, fruity aroma hit him. His brow immediately furrowed. Ethan, can you ever be serious for 5 minutes? What makes you think I'm not serious? I poured him a glass. Here, try this. Pure, all natural goodness. Way better than the mass-produced stuff you usually drink. Liam eyed the golden liquid, but couldn't resist. He picked up the glass and took a sip. His eyes widened. This? You made this? You know it. I smirked, puffing out my chest a bit. Liam took another sip, smacking his lips. A rare look of genuine approval crossed his face. Not bad at all. I told you. All right, fess up. He put the glass down, getting straight to the point. Why the sudden interest in sponsoring an art exhibition? For love, I stated matter-of-factly. Liam's mouth twitched. For Chloe Peterson? What else? I countered. Bro, you and I are different. You chase ambition. I chase happiness. For me, whatever makes my life more comfortable and enjoyable. That's my top priority. Liam was silent, his gaze complex. Maybe he couldn't grasp my live and let live attitude. But so what? We were just wired differently. Whatever, he finally conceded. Just don't cause any major trouble for the company. Don't worry. I raised my glass in a toast. Saturday rolled around fast. I drove my relatively understated black Bentley to pick up Chloe. She wore a soft blue dress and light makeup, looking like she'd stepped right out of a painting. Absolutely stunning. You look beautiful, I told her genuinely. Chloe's cheeks flushed, and she whispered a thank you. I opened her door, then slid into the driver's seat. The car glided smoothly towards the City Art Museum. So, where are we going? Chloe asked, curiosity dancing in her eyes. You'll see, I said, a mysterious smile playing on my lips. When the car pulled up to the museum entrance, Chloe gasped, covering her mouth in surprise as she saw the huge banner. Clark Industries, exclusive sponsor. This, your gift. Like it? I asked, my eyes twinkling. Chloe's eyes immediately welled up. She looked at me, her lips trembling, unable to speak. I knew I'd gotten her. For a girl who lived and breathed art, what could be a more romantic gesture? I took her hand, and we walked into the museum. As the big boss of Clark Industries, we received the VIP treatment. The event organizer, the chairman of the City Art Association, personally greeted us, enthusiastically introducing us to the exhibited works. Chloe observed everything intently. When she found a piece she liked, she'd stop to admire it, discussing the artist's brushstrokes and color choices with me. Watching her eyes light up as she talked about her passion, I couldn't help but be charmed. A girl truly passionate about something? That was incredibly attractive. We stopped before a painting, an oil on canvas depicting a dramatic sunset over the ocean. The colors were vibrant, the brushwork bold, overflowing with life. This painting is beautiful, Chloe murmured. You like it? I asked. She nodded. I turned to the museum curator who was following us. I'll take this one. The curator paused, then smiled. Vice President Clark, an excellent choice. This artist is one of the most promising newcomers in the exhibition. Bring the artist over. I want a word with him. Soon, a young man in his early 20s was brought over. He looked flustered and nervous when he saw us. I pointed to the painting. What's this piece called? It's called Hope, the young man whispered. Hope. I nodded. Good name. Give me your price. The artist looked stunned. He clearly hadn't expected me to be so direct. He hesitated, then named a number. It wasn't high. Pocket change for Clark Industries. I pulled out my checkbook, added an extra 0 to his price, signed it, and handed it to him. Keep painting, kid. From now on, Clark Industries will buy every piece you create. The young man stared at the check, completely speechless. He stammered incoherently, bowing and profusely thanking me. Everyone around us watched, their gazes filled with awe. The power of money. Simple, brutal, and incredibly effective. I turned to Chloe. She was looking up at me with wide, adoring eyes full of little stars. I winked, and she shyly looked down. Just then, an unwelcome voice shattered the harmonious atmosphere. Mr. Clark certainly has deep pockets. A voice drawled. I turned to see Victoria Sterling standing a short distance away, immaculate in a crisp white business suit, arms crossed, a faint, mocking smile on her lips. She had a small entourage of what looked like other business elites. Talk about running into your arch nemesis. Before I could even speak, Chloe instinctively ducked behind me. I gave Chloe's hand a reassuring squeeze and met Victoria's icy gaze. Ms. Sterling, I began, feigning surprise. Interested in art? Not exactly interested. Victoria's eyes swept over Chloe, a hint of disdain in her gaze. I just heard Mr. Clark was throwing money around to impress a pretty face and thought I'd come see the spectacle. Her words dripped with sarcasm. Everyone nearby caught the hostile undertone and immediately hushed, pretending to examine paintings but clearly straining to listen. Glad I could entertain Ms. Sterling, I said, equally unflustered. I don't have grand ambitions. I just like making my girlfriend happy. Unlike some people who are so focused on their careers, they don't even notice when their fiancée is out on a date with someone else. I made sure to heavily emphasize girlfriend and fiancé. Victoria's face instantly darkened. The expressions on her entourage's faces grew awkward. They'd obviously heard the rumors about Clark and Sterling's falling out, and now, seeing the main players confront each other, they were fully invested in the drama. Ethan, Victoria's voice was laced with anger. Don't push your luck. Too far. I scoffed. Ms. Sterling, who's really out of line? When we got engaged, who stood there and told everyone it was purely a business arrangement and I shouldn't have any improper thoughts. Now I've found my own happiness, and suddenly you're here, trying to call the shots. What is it? Does my happiness bother you that much? My words, a rapid-fire volley, caught Victoria completely off guard. Her face cycled through white, green, and then a furious red. A truly spectacular display. She'd probably never imagined the usually quiet, compliant Liam Clark could be so sharp-tongued. Her entourage exchanged subtle, knowing glances. So this was the real story behind the broken engagement. Whispers started in the crowd. So Ms. Sterling really messed up, huh? Walking away from a guy like Mr. Clark? What was she thinking? Seriously, he's handsome, rich, and so dedicated to that girl. A man like that is impossible to find. Though not loud, these whispers cut through the hushed museum with perfect clarity, reaching every ear. Victoria's composure completely shattered. She glared at me, her eyes burning with humiliation and fury. Ethan Clark, you just wait, she hissed, then turned sharply and stalked away, almost tripping on her high heels. Watching her make such a pathetic exit, I felt an undeniable surge of satisfaction. A public takedown is always the most satisfying. I turned to see Chloe looking up at me, her eyes shining with admiration, full of little stars. You were amazing, she breathed, genuinely impressed. I proudly arched an eyebrow. Of course. What kind of boyfriend do you think I am? Chloe's face immediately turned crimson. I haven't agreed to that yet, she mumbled, though a telltale hint of delight crept into her voice. The art exhibition incident quickly became the talk of the town's upper echelons. Everyone knew that Liam Clark, the supposedly compliant CEO of Clark Industries, had publicly cut ties with the Ice Queen CEO Victoria Sterling of Sterling Corp., all for a new girl he'd just met. Suddenly, I was the hottest topic in our social circle. Some said I was a romantic, a man of true passion, stirred to anger for a beauty. Others called me foolish, saying I'd risked our company's financial future by offending Sterling Corp. Over a woman. I ignored all the gossip. I still drove my Ferrari to work every day, which mostly involved drinking, working out, and gaming in my office. Liam, my workaholic brother, and Daniel, my incredibly efficient assistant, handled all the real company matters. I didn't have to lift a finger. Having someone else carry the burden while I enjoyed life, it was truly the best. And my relationship with Chloe, it had blossomed since the art exhibition. Even though she hadn't officially said yes to being my girlfriend, she'd text me every day, asking if I'd eaten or if work was too much. On weekends, we'd go on dates, movies, shopping, hitting up all the best restaurants in the city. I quickly learned Chloe wasn't just beautiful. She had a truly wonderful personality. She was kind, innocent, and would genuinely get upset over a stray cat for hours. She was thoughtful, remembering all my preferences. Knowing I love Chinese food, she secretly learned to cook, then surprised me with homemade lunchboxes at the office. Knowing I enjoy brewing, she scoured the city to find the best ingredients for my next batch. Being with her, I felt completely at ease. It was a comfortable, easy feeling. This afternoon, I was deep into a game in my office when Daniel knocked and entered. "Vice President Clark, we have a problem." "What's up?" I asked, actually sitting up straight for once. "Sterling Corp. just launched a hostile takeover bid against us." "What?" I frowned. A hostile takeover? Was Victoria out of her mind? Even with our previous collaborations falling apart, Clark Industries' foundation was far more entrenched than she realized. Where did she get the nerve to try something like this? "Is this confirmed?" I asked. "Absolutely," Daniel said, his face grim. "Sterling has teamed up with several foreign investment funds and is aggressively buying up shares on the secondary market. Our stock price is already seeing abnormal fluctuations." I stood up and began pacing my office. Something fell off. Victoria was arrogant, but she wasn't stupid. She wouldn't pull a stunt like this without some serious backing. Unless she had someone powerful behind her. "Where's Liam?" I asked. "The CEO is already leading the defense. He asked me to inform you, so you could brace yourself." "Prepare for what?" "For bankruptcy." I scoffed. My brother still seriously underestimated me. And he underestimated Victoria, too. "Daniel," I said, my gaze sharp, "I need you to immediately find out who Victoria Sterling has been meeting with recently. Especially any foreign investors. Don't miss a single one." "Yes, sir." Daniel left. I picked up my phone and dialed an encrypted number. It rang for a long time before someone finally picked up. A deep, aged, yet authoritative voice answered. "You little rascal. Finally remember to call your old man." "Grandpa, we've had a problem. I need your help," I said, getting straight to the point. On the other end was my grandfather, who'd long since retired from the business world, living a leisurely life abroad. He was the true anchor of the Clark family. After my rapid-fire explanation, there was a moment of silence. "Understand," Grandpa said, his voice even. "A little girl won't bring down an empire. You just focus on what you need to do. If the sky falls, your grandpa will catch it." With Grandpa's words, a wave of calm washed over me. I hung up, immediately changed out of my suit, and prepared to leave. As I walked downstairs, I saw Chloe's car parked at the entrance. She saw me, immediately got out, and ran towards me, her face etched with worry. "Ethan, my dad just told me, Sterling is trying to take over your company." "Yeah." I nodded, not wanting to alarm her. "Small stuff. It'll be handled quickly." "Really?" She still looked unconvinced. "Of course." I squeezed her cheek. "When has your guy ever lied to you?" She blushed, but the worry in her eyes didn't fade. "My dad said he could help." "No need." I cut her off gently. "This is a Clark Sterling thing. I don't want to drag you into it, but trust me." I cupped her face, looking into her eyes earnestly. "Wait for me at home. Once this is sorted, I'm coming for you." Chloe looked at me, then nodded firmly. "I'll wait." After reassuring Chloe, I drove straight to a private club in the suburbs. Victoria Sterling was inside. I didn't tell anyone. I went in alone. A waiter led me to a private room. Two burly, black-suited bodyguards stood by the door, blocking my way. "Sir, there's a private meeting. No visitors." I scoffed, ignored them completely, and pushed the door open. The room was thick with cigar smoke. Victoria Sterling sat at the head of a long table, and beside her sat a blonde, blue-eyed foreigner. Everyone froze, staring at me. Victoria's face turned instantly ugly. "Ethan Clark, we'll let you in. Get out," she snapped, her voice sharp. "Ms. Sterling, such a temper." I pulled out a chair, sat down casually, my gaze settling on the foreigner. "So this is your big financier, huh?" The foreigner watched me with an amused glint in his eye, then spoke in surprisingly fluent English. "You're Ethan Clark? More audacious than I expected." "You flatter me," I said, crossing my legs. "May I ask your business? Coming onto our turf to throw your weight around. Aren't you underestimating us a bit?" "Ah," Jack chuckled. "I'm Jack, from Wall Street. I'm here for one thing, money." "Funny," I said, spreading my hands. "Me too." "Since that's the case," Jack said, "let's be frank. Clark Industries. I want it. Name your price." "My company," I said, each word deliberate, "is not for sale." "Young man, don't be so stubborn." Jack's eyes turned cold. "I have many ways to make Clark Industries bankrupt. Then, you'll have absolutely nothing." "Is that so?" I scoffed. "And I have plenty of ways to make sure you never leave this country. Want to test that theory?" My words were a thinly veiled threat. Jack's confident facade finally cracked. His bodyguards instinctively moved to surround me. The tension in the room was palpable. Just then, the private room door swung open again. A group of men in dark suits, radiating an undeniable aura of authority, filed into the room. Leading them was a grim-faced, middle-aged man. He was my grandfather's most trusted bodyguard, Mr. Thorne. Mr. Thorne stepped behind me, giving a slight, respectful bow. "Young master, your grandfather sent me to escort you." I nodded. Mr. Thorne straightened up, his icy gaze sweeping over Jack and his men. "My young master is leaving. Who dares to stop him?" His voice was quiet, but it carried a chilling, undeniable threat. Jack and his men were clearly stunned by this sudden turn of events. They could tell these men were serious, the kind who'd seen real action. A sheen of cold sweat broke out on Jack's forehead. He hadn't expected a seemingly small Clark Industries to have such formidable backing. "Let's go." I stood up, straightened my collar, and walked directly towards the door, not sparing Victoria a glance. As I passed Victoria, I paused, speaking just loud enough for only her to hear. "Victoria Sterling, you truly disappoint me. To get revenge, you invited wolves to the feast, betraying your family's interests. You don't deserve to be a CEO." With that, I walked out without looking back, leaving Victoria slumped in her chair, her face ashen and defeated. She had lost, utterly and completely. The hostile takeover attempt came and went like a whirlwind. Under Grandpa's swift and decisive actions, Jack, the Wall Street shark, was on a private jet out of the country before dawn. Sterling Corp., reeling from the failed acquisition, saw its stock price plummet, teetering on the brink of bankruptcy. Victoria Sterling, for inviting wolves to the house, was swiftly removed from her CEO position by the board. Rumor had it she locked herself away for 3 days, refusing to see anyone. Clark Industries, however, emerged from the crisis not only unscathed but stronger. Our demonstrated power sent the stock price soaring, doubling our market value. The hashtag ClarkCEO still sleeping even trended on social media for a bit. Company employees noticed their CEO, Liam Clark, was still as elusive as ever. But the supposedly lazy vice president, Ethan Clark, had become the true driving force behind the company. Though he still ate, drank, and gamed whenever he pleased, the company's performance was skyrocketing. Subordinates were fiercely competing for a chance to impress him, all working their tails off. One day, you'd close a major project, the next, someone else would sign an even bigger deal. Clark Industries was buzzing with unprecedented energy and success. And me, the architect of this minor revolution, I was lounging on my huge sofa at home, enjoying Chloe's tender ministrations. "Open wide," Chloe chirped, holding a piece of apple to my lips. I opened my mouth and let her feed me. Sweet enough? She asked, smiling. Not as sweet as you. I mumbled around the apple. She gave me a playful glare, then forked another piece and fed it to Duke, who was sprawled happily across my lap. Duke wagged his tail contentedly. From her perch on the cat tree, Princess watched us languidly, her eyes filled with unmistakable disdain. This, I thought, was what pure contentment felt like. Ethan, Chloe said suddenly, when are we getting married? I nearly choked on the apple. I looked at her. Her cheeks were flushed, but her eyes held a serious, hopeful glint. I smiled. Anytime, I said. If you want, we can go right now. Now. She froze. Yeah, now. I jumped off the sofa, grabbed her hand, and pulled her towards the door. Half an hour later, we stood outside the county courthouse. Holding our freshly minted marriage certificate, Chloe still looked a little dazed. We just got married. What? You were expecting a grand ceremony. I pulled her into my arms, pressing a kiss to her forehead. Mrs. Clark, it's an honor. And you're stuck with me now. She looked up, stood on tiptoes, and lightly pecked my lips. Mr. Clark, the feeling's mutual. Under the warm sunlight, her smile was brighter than any sunrise I'd ever witnessed. I knew my laid-back life had finally found its true home. As for my workaholic brother, still busting his butt at the office, he could keep on envying me, hating me, whatever. After all, the company was practically mine, my wife definitely was, and even his favorite artisanal bourbon, I probably already drunk half his stash. End.